Hey, you guys, what's going on out there? It's your girl, Pretty Sexy Jar the Brand, aka Stunning Station, coming to you guys once again with another review slash recap of Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 16, episode 14, which is titled Read Chapter Renew. Baby, Assassins, thank y'all so much for showing the love, showing the support, liking, comment, and subscribing. As your girl appreciates it so much over here on her channel. And Assassins, thank y'all for just showing up and doing what y'all do best, which is commenting, liking, sharing, and telling a friend to tell a friend. But now, you guys, your girl is coming to you all to let you know that, hey, if you would like to help over here and donate to the channel to add lights, mics, and anything else, I will give you a shout out over here on the channel when I do my videos and recaps. I will post you on my social media all week, and you can donate to how much ever you would like to donate to the channel. Whatever you donate will be used to help my dreams and help build with the channel. It's also, you guys, I have started a GoFundMe, and the description and link for it will be down below. And um, you guys, if you have not checked out Ming Lee's interview and her breaking her silence to Basketball Wives season 12, it is out now over here on YouTube as well. But you guys, let's go ahead and get into episode 14 of Real Housewives of Atlanta, which is titled Renew. Baby, I can't wait to see what is really finna go down in Grenada. So yes, y'all. As we get into our opening scene, it is our second day in Grenada, and baby, the ladies are just recapping the dinner and what happened and what all was discussed and the issues that was talked about at the table and how things were handled. And we get to hear from each of the ladies. We get to see Miss Cynthia and Drew. We get to see Miss Kels and Shamia. We get to see our girl Miss Portia and Miss Drew having a time with each other last night. And baby, and it's just giving good vibes, good energy. And so, it's the next morning, and we're just doing a light little recap. And come to find out, my girl Britt, she threw up, but everybody was like, well, our girl Britt is a lightweight. I mean, hey, the alcohol levels could be different over there in Grenada, and baby, they could just be messing the girls up. You never know. But we see Britt's on the phone with her husband, and she's telling him about last night, and then we go to our girl Miss Angela, and we are in her room, and Miss Angela is dressed, but she's calling her husband Charles, and yesterday was their anniversary, and she just was calling to, speak with him the day after. She said she did speak with him on the day of their anniversary, and I think which is a very beautiful thing. But then, y'all, we go into this kitchen living area where all the ladies meet up and have breakfast. And our first to arrive, of course, is Miss Phaedra and Miss Britt. And baby, they're talking to the chef, and he's making a lovely meal and some good food and good meals. And while they're talking to him, then comes through the door our girl Miss Cynthia, and baby, it's all hugs, loves, and giggles. And then the next thing you know, our other ladies start coming through the door individually, one by one. And baby, it's just giving a good vibe, good energy, and we giving hugs. And the ladies are talking. But who is not arrived yet is our girl Miss Portia. But our girl Miss Phaedra is keeping the girls and the ladies entertained over on the trip, and definitely keeping the conversation hot in the kitchen. And that's why she was brought back. Clock it. And like I said, while the ladies are up in the area where they've been meeting at and talking, having breakfast, then we get into about Shamia and Britt having a little discourse last night at the dinner and having a little back and forth. And basically, Shamia is telling Britt that, they were having a conversation about one thing and that Britt was making it about something else. And Britt tells Shamia very quickly to her face, baby, if I had the crystal, whatever I was talking about was what I was talking about, which was going on at that table. And Shamia was like, well, I'm just telling you, Britt. And then I see there's a dynamic shift. because our girl Miss Britt is just, not she's not a I follow. I do what I do. Clock it. And so, baby, we head off into these vans, and baby, our girl Miss Portia has joined the girls. She got on the gold dress, and the ladies go off in their separate vans and their separate rides, and it's our girl Britt, Kels, and Angela and Drew. And our girl Kels is not talking to Britt, and Britt's like on her phone. And then, baby, it's just giving this weird energy. And then we go to the other van, which has Miss Cynthia, Miss Phaedra, Miss Portia, and Shamia in it. And baby, let's just say Miss Shamia is giving a whole rundown, a whole scoop about her thoughts and opinions and about the situation and what is occurring and is happening. And baby, I'm just like, is should we really be gagging though? Because it's just giving some teas. I'm just saying, it's giving some teas that's not being discussed, it's not being laid out. But our girl Miss Phaedra is gonna get to the bottom of it. Our girl Miss Cynthia is gonna help the girls get to the bottom of it. Cause they the OGs around this thing. And as they're talking to Shamia and giving her these words of encouragement, I just think that it's very interesting to see, but also very good to see because, hey, Shamia is a new housewife. And we go back to the other van for just a quick little second, and we see our girls, and they're just riding, getting themselves together. And our girl Britt is like all in her phone, solo dolo. She's not really talking to Kelly. It's not giving best friend, best friend. It's giving like something's going on, something's changed within the dynamic of this circle. But yes, 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 y'all. As we continue on into our opening scene, our ladies are still in the vans, they're still on their rides. And of course, we hear from our girl, Miss Angela. And, she shares with the ladies in her vans that, she did talk to her husband yesterday and that she's happy that they made it to their 8-year wedding anniversary. And baby, the ladies are in the van saying, eight is great, eight is great. And then we go back to the other van with Shamia, Portia, Cynthia, and Phaedra. And Shamia shares with the ladies, hey, that the Prime Minister is coming to meet them and that the ladies need to be on time for their dinner tonight. And it doesn't need to be any late or running behind. And I mean, of course, you have to understand it's the Prime Minister. You got to meet the man that is taking care and providing for his land. So, like I said, the ladies are in the van, and as they arrive to Endel Waterfall, and the ladies break off into separate groups, and you know, our girl Miss Kales, of course, is there, and she says she's gonna take every opportunity she can, to expand in her restaurant and in her business, and so it's Miss Kales, Miss Angela, um Drew, and my girl Britt. And the ladies are having them a drink. They have chefs making a traditional meal from the island. And it's just a very, very beautiful moment and scene. And the ladies are putting on gloves, and Miss Britt has expressed and shared that she can't eat what the ladies eat because she is vegan. So, she will help them prep, but she just can't have like the traditional meals. And Kelly was kind of like, "Girl, how you gonna turn away these people food?" And it's not that she's turning away. I mean, that's just who she is, how she's chosen to eat. But the ladies are having a good time while they're doing this cooking class. But y'all, as we go from that scene to our next scene. Yes, yes, yes. So then as we get into our next scene, you guys, it is our other group of ladies, and they are at the actual waterfall. As y'all know, our girl Shamia's luggage did not make it, but Shamika is wearing a two-piece that Portia let her borrow. And baby, the ladies are having themselves a good time. They taking pictures, they showing body, they dancing, they just doing what needs to be done. And our girl Shamia expresses that, you know, she ain't feeling two-piece ready, and this ain't her two-piece and it's not what she had planned, but she's gonna make the best of it. And I think from these pictures you can just tell that the ladies are gonna have a good time and a great moment. And then you guys, we go back to our other ladies, and they are gonna get into the meal that they prepared and prepped. And baby, let's just say the other ladies are ready to, dive in and eat. And, it's kind of interesting to see how the group is being receptive to Brit, because Brit is not really, Brit's being herself, but Brit is not really, you can tell, attached and tied into the group, or that the group is like treating Brit a specific type of way. And everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, well, you're a Brit lover, so you're gonna say that, of course." No, it's not that. It's just in this scene, in this moment, you can tell there's something off. There's something that is not kilter right with the ladies, and you can tell that Miss Angela and the other ladies can sense it. But then, y'all, we go back to our other scene. Well, go back to the other scene with the other ladies, which is Miss Phaedra, Miss Shamia, Miss Portia, and Miss Cynthia. And baby, they get into the talks and talking, about being a housewife. What is it like, the controversy, the conversation that I had, and sometimes how it feels when you are in a group and newly added. And then, y'all, we get into the other conversation that also took place last night about who is Miss Drew dating. Is she dating this man named Mr. Black? Is she in a relationship with him? Because everybody wants to know. Kelly popped it off at the table. The other girls at the other table are questioning, like, is Drew with this man named Black? Baby, Drew is like, Black is her friend. She don't know what y'all talking about. Like, yeah, they flirt, but they friends. And baby, it's just getting real interesting because Drew's like, why everybody want to know about my tea and my business, about what I got going on and what I'm doing, She's like, why is it always me, 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 me? And then, baby, the ladies get into their vans. They're leaving from where they were on their adventure. And of course, we get to see our girl, Miss Portia and Shamia. And, after all that would happen a few episodes back, the ladies seem to be doing really well in their friendship. They seem to have a really good vibe and really good energy as they are on their way back to their rooms to prepare for tonight's dinner with the other ladies to meet the Prime Minister of Grenada. And like I said, ladies are just having a good time. They laugh and they kicking. And baby, it's good to see because the girls was not seeing eye to eye at one point. Now they see eye to eye. So that's good. But y'all, as we get back to the resort that the ladies are staying in, you know. Like I said, it's time. The ladies are getting ready, they're getting prepped, they're getting prepared, and it just looks like it's gonna be a good night, good energy, good vibes. And baby, can't wait to see how the night's gonna go because the ladies got their bodies out, they showing skin, and they looking good. Big purr. Now, our girl Shamia did receive a phone call before she went out, but hey, she looking good. She making things look good. Everybody just looking good. The fashions is fashioning, baby. Now let's see what this dinner gonna be like. Okay. And so, baby, as we get into our next scene, it's our girl Miss Angela. She done called Charles trying to see if he missed her for their wedding anniversary. He ain't really giving it up like that. Then, baby, we get back into the kitchen with the girls, with the ladies, and baby, our girl Shamia is being very back and forth, very passive aggressive about, girl, if you don't want no shot, you ain't gotta take no shot. If you don't want to take no drink, you ain't gotta take no drink. And come to find out, she's being passive aggressive with our girl Britt. And Britt is like, baby, I don't know what all this passive aggressiveness is for. She's like, because I've declined shots before. She's like, I don't take shots. Those are not my things. It's not what I do. And baby, it is getting real heated. And Miss Cynthia's sitting up on the bar. And baby, Miss Kelly is just looking. And baby, our girls are not sticking together. So I'm really trying to see what is really giving, what's the tea really about to give. Because it's kind of seeming like Brit's been put outside the circle. And why is that? I really wonder. But y'all, as we go from that scene to our next scene. So, baby, we're on our way. We've made it to the dinner, and let's just say the ladies, are sitting down at the table. The vibe's going good. The energy's going great, and then we get into a conversation about the hurricane that had hit back home, Hurricane Earl, and then not only that, we get into about giving back, showing up, and showing our support, excuse me, y'all, and showing our support amongst a group and friends of like giving back to a charity or giving back to those that may not have when you may have. Our girl Miss Portia goes to say, she gave 1,000, and she is about, doing your part, and when it's time. And I really feel like this is a conversation that her and Shamia had, and Shamia feels some type of way about what Britt gave at the donation and what Britt gave. But before we even jump ahead into that, then Miss Shamia says, well, yeah, this is when we should do our big one. We should show up with Rolls Royces and Birkin bags and Birkins and act like we got it and then can't donate. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let's not, Miss Shamia. Let's not with our girl Britt. Because let's be very clear. Did she bring a donation? Yes, she did. You didn't say how much had to be brought. And if y'all did, that was something that was not seen on camera. So if she gave something and she showed something, she did her part. And for the rest of you ladies to be side eyeing her at this table and her friend not to have her back, aka Kelly, is very interesting. But Britt don't need nobody to have her back. Because you know why? Because when Britt said she sensed there was some shade at the table, she nipped it in the bud. She checked it right then and she checked it right there. And then the next thing you know, um our girl Miss Portia jumps in, and you know of course she's gonna have Shamia's back, but of course, but Britt, like I said, Britt can stand on her own. Britt is telling the girls, letting the girls know, look here, if we're gonna have these conversations, we're gonna have this topic, even if this is what's gonna be the discussion, let's talk about it. Let's be very clear. Because I can pinpoint, I can tell, I can give you evidence and time. Baby, it's just like the girls wanted to have a problem with Brit. And I don't know what it's about and what it's giving, but it has quickly did a 360 of we're going to be friends with her to we don't want her on the island. And it's giving very strange. So, y'all, why they still having this back and forth at this table, the Prime Minister has arrived and showed up, and Shamia's asking the ladies, hey, let's park it and bark it on this conversation. The Prime Minister has arrived, and the Prime Minister comes to the table and he just speaks to the ladies. Very chocolate, very attractive man. But as he's sitting down and he's talking, the lady's like, "Oh, well, you don't have to. You just have to come speak. You can have a drink with us. You can come eat with us." And come to find out, the prime minister, you know, he says, hasn't been to Atlanta that often, but he asked the ladies when the best time to come, and they all say whenever. And then the ladies just start trying to, hook the girls up at the table, start trying to put them with the prime minister. Now, the prime minister did not say he was married, but he did state that he has two children, and his oldest child is 17. Now, baby, he don't look like he got no 17-year-old. And the girls is just oohing and eyeing at this table. They going picking who should be the best first lady. It then went from Drew to Portia to Kelly, baby. And the girls is just giving it about this man, listen about this man. And he just looking at them, trying to see, like, I see he watching. He looking at the table. He making a very good observation. And, after he leaves from joining the ladies, they get into the conversation about, men that don't wear their rings, husbands that don't wear their rings. And they was like, well, he may have not been married because, he ain't having a ring. And that's when Miss Britt says, well, there are some men that don't wear their wedding rings. And baby, this one Miss Angela shares with everybody at the table that her husband doesn't wear his ring. And baby, they was like, girl, wait, what? He don't wear his ring, gagging. And while they're all having this discussion, having that type of conversation, comes out a cake with candles on it, and the ladies got Miss Angela a cake to help her celebrate her anniversary. And the energy is just all positive. It's all good. And it's good vibes, good energy. But then, y'all, we get off into these vans, and baby, it is our girl, Miss Drew, Miss Angela, Miss Phaedra, and Miss Britt. And baby, let's just say our girl Britt is not feeling the vibes, is not feeling the energy. It's just kind of like WTF with. So yes, y'all, we are in the other van with Portia, Shamia, Cynthia, and Kelly, and the ladies are at first having a good time and a good ride, but then our girl Shamia gets a phone call from her husband, and he shares with her that their daughter has not been being treated right by the lady who they had working for them in an agency. She's basically letting their daughter like freeze, not putting any clothes on her. And you can tell that this has really affected Shamia's mood and how she was on the trip. And you can tell that she is very worried because Shamia then expresses, all of her daughter's health issues that she has and, what can happen to her from not being properly clothed when she needs to be seen about and cared for. And, it even catches the ladies off guard in the van because they're like, wait, what's going on? And they're all trying to be there for Shamia. And Shamia literally breaks down. So then our girl Britt gets a call while she's in her van with the ladies. And it's from our girl Miss Kelly. And she shares that, hey, Shamia just got some news about her daughter, and it's not good. And you know, you guys, when we get in the house, let's just take a moment. And so then, y'all, we make it back to the where the ladies are staying, and Shamia goes and she changes and she asks the ladies, why are they all so quiet? And they're all trying to be there for Shamia and show up for her. And even Kelly says, y'all, let's all hold hands and pray for Shamia. Oh my God. Y'all, y'all, this is so heavy. It's a lot because number one, I'm not a parent. I don't have any children. But just to see all these ladies come together and be a sisterhood, even though they were just arguing and fighting, this what gives the beauty of Real Housewives of Atlanta. And to see how they all just wrapped up around Shamia and they just wrapped her with their love and they covered her. It was so beautiful. And then to even see Britt come and like talk to her and have a one on one and really tell her like, I know we must might fight, we might fuss, but I got your back. At the end of the day, you my sister, you who I love, and it's just very beautiful to see y'all. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm crying. It's just very beautiful to see. And then how we close this thing is out is our girl Britt ends up taking a shot with our girl Shamia. So even though they started off with a bunch of fussing and fighting, we do end on a positive note. Real Housewives Atlanta season 16, episode 14. Baby, it has been your girl, Pretty Sissy Jar the Brand, aka Son of the Season. Until next time, you guys. Remember, like, comment, and subscribe, and be safe. I'm out.